Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, today we are unpacking something absolutely massive. We're doing a deep dive into an industrial transformation happening right under our noses in the Ontario-Michigan waste corridor. Now, you might think this is just a story about garbage, but it's not. This is a high-stakes, real-time paradigm shift involving geopolitics, cutting-edge AI, and a total reinvention of logistics, where physical liabilities are quite literally turned into incredibly lucrative digital assets. So let's jump right into it.
Look at that number, 3.46 million tons. That is the staggering volume of municipal solid waste that Ontario, Canada ships across the U.S. border into Michigan landfills every single year. Just about that into perspective for a second. That one export stream makes up 14.35% of all the waste disposed of in Michigan, right? For decades, this whole industry relied on this massive regulatory arbitrage. Basically, exporting to Michigan cost pennies compared to keeping it domestic in Ontario. But, as we're going to see, this enormous waste corridor is now facing a severe existential threat. And that threat? It's mathematically guaranteed to hit an absolute wall. We're looking at a rapid succession of regulatory dominoes falling. Check out this timeline. In 2026, we hit the municipal exit, where local governments just stop collecting commercial waste. That sparks an immediate orphan crisis. Millions of tons of commercial waste with literally nowhere to go. Then boom, 2029 hits. The RE wood mandate kicks in, outright banning the landfilling of clean wood. And if that wasn't enough, by 2034, we reach total regional capacity exhaustion. Domestic landfills will be completely 100% full. Ontario is staring down a sheer waste cliff. So this brings us to the ultimate financial paradox of our explainer today. Imagine you're a waste generator right now. You are staring down a massive liability. You're looking at a penalty of up to $60 per ton just to dispose of mixed materials. But what if you could flip that? What if that exact same material could yield a $350 per ton carbon dividend? Like, how is that even possible? Well, the answer, the real magic trick here, lies entirely in data lineage.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. We're going to cover 1, the Ontario waste cliff, 2, the trash trade war, 3, the sentient technological bridge, 4, the edge AI compliance gate, 5, the 9-point USMCA shield, and finally, 6, data is the product.
Section 1, the Ontario waste cliff, the end of the line. Moving right along to Section 2, the trash trade war, border collapses. For a long time, the business model in Ontario's 905 industrial corridor was basically foolproof. Drop a bin, fill it up with chaotic construction waste, and tip it at the absolute cheapest landfill you could find. But that legacy system, it's hitting a massive structural rupture. The industry is getting squeezed tight by macroeconomic threats from both sides. On the border front, you've got Washington turning up the heat. We're talking about the potential invocation of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act by figures like Donald Trump, combined with massive USMCA Section 122 tariffs ranging from 10 to 35%. Add in CSUMA Chapter 4 transshipment traps, and simply crossing the border has become a complete minefield. Meanwhile, domestically, Doug Ford and Ontario mandates are piling on the pressure with the CRCIL levy and that upcoming 2029 Arwood landfill ban. Relying on old-school analog paper manifests in this highly scrutinized environment, that is terminal failure. The old way is dead.
Section 3, the sentient technological bridge, 905 wood.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where the solution comes in. See, 905 wood is not your traditional junk hauler. Not at all. It is a heavily regulated software-as-a-service and fintech platform. Its entire reason for existing is to act as a sentient bridge. It bridges the wild, chaotic world of construction waste with the hyper-precise, high-purity requirements of the biocarbon market, like the strict methodologies set out by Puro.Earth. This 5-layer digital platform acts as total middleware. You've got an intake module right at the point of collection, a logistics hub-and-spoke system to engineer density, a regulatory module utilizing policy as code to navigate those complex border laws we just talked about, a financial module handling the billing, and a reporting module plugging straight into forestry and carbon markets. It is literally a physical and digital refinery orchestrating the flow of material while generating highly structured compliance data. Section 4, Edge AI Compliance Gate, the Silicon Deep Dive. Okay, let's geek out for a second on the incredible hardware making this triage possible right in the dirt and noise of an active construction site.
The front end operates as a strict compliance gate, and it is powered by the new Google Pixel 11 Pro running Android 17. And the kicker, the whole process is entirely on device, no cloud connection needed, which is absolutely crucial if you're stuck in an offline basement or a remote site. So the phone's camera captures the wood pile. Instantly, the custom Tensor G6 neural processing unit kicks in. By leveraging Google's Light-RT AI stack and ahead-of-time compilation, which essentially preloads the brain of the AI so it's ready to go instantly, it totally bypasses that annoying warm-up delay. Then, the Gemma 4 vision model runs optical character recognition to analyze and classify the wood as clean or treated. And it does all of this in under 500 milliseconds. Just incredible. But, having lightning-fast AI isn't quite enough. You still absolutely need human accountability. And this brings us to a really fascinating UI/UX design choice called hostile UX. The application intentionally creates intelligent friction. Honestly, it's probably the only time you'll see a software developer actively try to annoy their user to ensure compliance. It features a hold to seal requirement. The driver literally has to press and hold the screen while the phone's haptic motor ramps up to maximum vibration, mimicking the physical feel of a heavy wax seal. It forces human-in-the-loop validation, so there's no way a driver can just autopilot through these high-stakes regulatory checks. Section 5. The 9-point USMCA shield, surviving the border. So when that truck actually rolls up to the U.S. border, the driver doesn't hand over some crumpled, handwritten analog manifest. No way. The app outputs a crisp, high-contrast PDF documentation package, a 9-point certificate of origin. It contains literally everything a customs agent could ask for. We're talking validated GPS origin coordinates, the precise 6-digit harmonized system classification, and X-ray fluorescence atomic signatures proving the wood is completely free of contaminants like arsenic or chromium. It even has the USMCA's wholly obtained good attestation, right down to the specific AI model version used and a cryptographic blockchain hash locking it all together. It is an impregnable shield that instantly proves compliance and protects the load from those massive border tariffs.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the core data schema underneath it all. We're looking at a relational database that cryptographically binds the physical bin load to the regulatory manifest and the financial invoice. The physical wood is now immutably linked to the regulatory ledger. This right here, this is Digital Measurement Reporting and Verification, or DMRV, in action. Section 6. Data is the product, the value inversion. So here is the absolute crucial takeaway. By operationalizing this AI stack, 905 Wood's value shifts entirely to the DMRV and provenance data pot. Let me repeat that. The data, not just the physical wood, becomes the core SaaS application service. And you can see this value inversion clearly in their billing interface. A traditional hauler hits you with a black box invoice, just one opaque price that bundles fuel, labor, hidden taxes, and treats your waste like a total liability. But 905 Wood uses decoupled billing. They isolate the logistics, the mass, and specifically that circle levy right on the user interface. It gamifies cost avoidance. When a generator sees they can literally zero out that levy by providing clean, AI-verified feedstock, you have inverted the entire dynamic. You've actively incentivized participation in a clean, circular bioeconomy. And the financial result of this data providence is, frankly, staggering. When you use this digital refinery to prove the wood's pristine origin, you can confidently divert it straight to a high-tech biocarbon facility instead of dumping it in a landfill. And by doing that, it generates carbon dioxide removal certificates, or CORCs, that are worth up to $350 per ton. Think about that. You have mathematically and chemically transformed a liability that was going to cost you $60 into a high-purity asset yielding $350. It's a real game changer. I want to leave you to ponder this provocative reality from our source material today. One man's trash is another man's database. Because in the modern circular bioeconomy, survival means recognizing that the digital provenance data tracking the material is infinitely more valuable than the material itself. This SaaS application service essentially secures Ontario's industrial leadership for the future. So it leaves us with this final question. If meticulously tracking trash can transform it into a highly lucrative digital asset, what other hidden databases are we blindly throwing into landfills every single day?